Beautiful. What is up, everybody? This is Batsman Fan, and this is episode 30. As you could tell from the beautiful intro I had, I recently went snow skiing. Had a great time, didn't get hurt. It's always a good thing. But it was beautiful up there, as you could tell. And I'm going to relate that back to a comic book here in a minute, just to show y'all why I included that in my intro. So let's just get rolling, man. I've got three phenomenal comics coming up. Nothing super high grade or anything, folks, but these are iconic covers. And they all have to deal with World War II. And I know that me and the comics preacher, that's someone that I follow, and we've commented back and forth to one another about how much we love World War II stuff. So let's just get cracking, man. This is All-Star Comics number 27. This is from the winter of 1945. So this is right at the conclusion or the end of World War II for us. And man, it's just a phenomenal cover. It's the Justice Society of America. They examine the plight of the physically handicapped in a story called "In a Place in the World." Having fought on the front line for the freedom they believe in, how do returning servicemen fit back into everyday society? The Justice Society pays tribute to the real heroes of the war, but what place is there for them in the brave new world they have just fought for? So this story is based around this gentleman right here, and he lost his arm in the war. And I remember reading up about him, and I want to say he was like a star, maybe a football player, or star type of athlete, or something like that. I want to say it was football, but I could be wrong, folks. But he got enlisted in the army or the military, and lost his arm in service to our country. So you see right here, everybody in here saluting him. We see Wildcat, Wonder Woman, Hawkman, Green Lantern, old school Green Lantern baby, and the old school Flash as well. So just an awesome, iconic cover. Just really, really, really happy to add this to my collection. I've been so fortunate and so blessed to be able to jump in here and buy some of these World War II comics. There was, for the longest time, I never thought I'd own a Golden Age comic. And I've been lucky enough to fall into a bunch here lately. The seller was phenomenal on this. I couldn't have asked to work with a more honest and better seller. But he sold me this book, which graded out as a 3.0. And then he sold me this book. Pick it up, pow! Look at that. Oh, Captain Marvel number 8, folks. That, you stay classy, San Diego. Look at this cover. That is just beautiful. I know we're getting a little bit of glare here, and it is a restored copy. It's because there's pieces added, spine split that was sealed and reinforced. But man, just this happened. I like to give the history on the comics too. I want to tell you why I buy these. So that's why I go into length and detail on trying to tell you what was going on in the world and why we were having these kind of covers. This is it came out in March of 1942. This was shortly after the bombing or the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's also the first appearance of the supervillain IBAC or IBOC. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but IBAC. IBAC's alter ego is Stanley Stinky, what a heck of a name, Printwhistle. He's a crook who attempts to blow up a bridge, but is caught in the explosion and thrown off due to Captain Marvel. Pre-crisis, he was dropped off by Cap. He is saved by Lucifer, the actual devil, who offers Printwhistle the chance to become a champion of evil and defeat Captain Marvel in exchange for his mortal soul. Printwhistle accepts. Lucifer summons up 4 historical villains, and Printwhistle is told to speak the magic word, IBAC or IBOT. So, just like Billy Batson, only, Billy Batson has to utter Shazam, and Stinky, though, whenever he says IBAC, IBOT, he just has to say IBOT, and then bam, same type deal, though. Shazam, or Billy Batson says Shazam, boom, and then IBOT says IBAC, whatever. So, while Captain Marvel is empowered by 6 mythological and biblical figures, IBOT is empowered by 4 of the most evil and terrifying men to have ever walked the earth. And granted, at this time, Hitler's still walking the earth. And I'm not trying to get into on this video whether or not you believe Hitler was actually killed or killed himself in that bunker, or if he fled through Spain and went to Argentina and down in that area. That's a topic for another day. But at the time, these were some of the baddest dudes that had ever walked the earth. So for the I, it's Ivan the Terrible, who supplies terror. There's Cesar Borgia, it's Borgia, who gives Ibok like the cunning skill. Attila the Hun, who gives him with fierceness, and Caligula, the sponsor of cruelty. While Captain Marvel transforms using magic lightning bolts, that's the lightning bolt on his chest. Ibok's transformations are accomplished with the power of mystical green fire and brimstone. Fire and brimstone is biblical, folks. To talk about his acronym, though, in order to transform into Captain Marvel, Billy must speak the wizard's name, an acronym for the 6 legendary figures who agreed to grant aspects of themselves to a willing subject. The wisdom of Solomon, the strength, which is biblical, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. Those were all going to be your Greek mythology. Speaking the word produces a bolt of magic lightning, which transforms Billy into Captain Marvel. Speaking the word again reverses the transformation with another bolt of lightning. So, that's just a little bit of history on that book, and Shazam as well, and IBAC or IBOC, however you pronounce that. I paid, I paid $115 for this one. And I believe I paid $135 for this one. And that's all shipping and everything. So thoroughly happy to add those. Look at this. Old Daisy Red Ryder carbine. Loved my Daisy Red Ryder carbine. And speaking of that, on this trip that I just went on, that Daisy Red Ryder carbine, the origin, or the home, if you will, of one of the riders and creators of Daisy Red Ryder was in, I believe it's Pagosa Springs, Colorado. One of the creators of Red Ryder. So, anyways, I digress. All right, the next comment. This is another one that has a lot of importance. And it's just, hey man, it's in my wheelhouse. It is Detective Comics number 96. So now I have 96, 97, got an earlier Detective Comics, I think 92 or something like that. But I paid right around $90 for this. I won this while standing on top of the mountain. That's how it relates back to the intro video. I was standing up there, and that was the only place I got service at, and I happened to win this. So, I won this while I was on top of the mountain at Wolf Creek. The cover art is by Jack Burnley and George Roussos, I believe is how you pronounce it. The stories in here are Alfred, Private Detective, starring Batman and Robin. Script by Don Cameron and art by Dick Sprang. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. That's a funny name. It's signed as Bob Kane, though. Bargains and Burglary, starring Slam Bradley, art by Howard Sherman. Crime Goes Into Mourning, starring Airwave, art by George Roussos again. Three Ring Beach Story, script and art by Jack Farr. The Sinister League, starring the Boy Commandos, art by Louis Casanueva. And this is 48 pages in length. And if you pay close attention to this banner right here, Back the Sixth War Loan. So let me take a minute to tell you about the Sixth War Loan. The Sixth War Loan Drive began November 2nd, 1944, and ended December 16th, 1944. This drive raised, in just a little over about a month and a half, $21.6 billion. This is $21.6 billion in 1945, folks. President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave his radio address to start the Sixth War Loan Drive. Roosevelt had recently been elected to his fourth term, man. Fourth term as president. So this is his speech from his radio address. The Sixth War Loan Drive that starts tomorrow is something more than just a money-raising affair. We cannot all fight the enemy face to face. We cannot all produce the weapons and the raw materials that are so vital to our armed forces. But there is one front on which all of us, every man, woman, and child, can serve and serve for the duration. We can all practice self-denial. We can all sacrifice some of our comforts to the needs of the men in service. And yes, even some of our needs to their comforts. The war in the present month of November alone will cost us $7.5 billion. That is $250 million a day. That is why every war bond that you buy is so important. The war is not over. No, not by many a costly battle. While we have every reason to be proud of what has been done, even optimistic about the ultimate outcome, we have no reason to be complacent about the tough road that still lies ahead of us. We have just been through a wartime election, demonstrating to the people of the world the deep roots of our democratic faith. The Sixth War Loan, I am confident, will be a further example of democracy in action in a world at war. There is an old saying about sticking to the plow until you have reached the end of the furrow. Every rule of common sense and patriotic thought makes that maximum applicable to our conduct in this war. And so in the name of our wounded and sick, in the name of our dead, and in the name of future generations of Americans, I ask you to plow out this furrow to a successful and victorious end. Wow, that is a powerful speech. I have not heard that. I believe it is recorded somewhere. I'll have to look that up. But that is a powerful speech. I'll also give you one more that was given by General Dwight D Eisenhower, who later became one of our presidents. This was from Sunday, November 12th, 1944. And he was the supreme commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces at that time. So here's his speech. Your assistance is needed, and the most important job now for the people at home is to make the Sixth War Loan a success. To make sure a final victory, we must redouble and sustain our efforts both here and everywhere. The money must be raised, and our men on all the fronts depend on you. Contact your local war finance committee and join the home front away as a volunteer bond worker. On behalf of your sons, brothers, husbands, and friends in this great war theater, I request that you do your part to see that the Sixth War Loan is vastly oversubscribed. So, just phenomenal. A couple of great speeches. Really like those speeches. Like the history of this. This also has Alfred's last name is revealed as being Beagle in this. I had typed up a bunch of details on what the difference was, and I don't know where those are in my notes. So Alfred's last name was revealed as Beagle, as seen here. You can see right out there. Alfred's last name revealed as Beagle. Alfred Beagle was butler to Earth 2 Bruce Wayne. His first appearance was in Batman number 16, and his name was changed to Alfred Pennyworth in Batman number 216. So a little other history for you on this one. So thank y'all very much again for watching. This was episode 30 for me. Thank you for all the comments, the likes, the subscribes, everything that y'all have done to continue to make this a great community. Y'all continue to have a wonderful new year. Keep those videos coming, and that's all.